Someone is about to confess their feelings for you. This will shock you. My beloved child, before your thoughts wander anywhere else, remain here for just a little longer, because there are moments that arrive so quietly they almost go unnoticed, yet they have the power to change the way your heart understands everything around it. Don't skip this moment, because something important is waiting for you, and it has been approaching with gentle footsteps for far longer than you realize. Somewhere beyond what your eyes can currently see, someone has been carrying words they never found the courage to speak. Not because those words were weak, but because they mattered too much to be spoken carelessly. Every time they imagined telling you how they truly felt, their heartbeat became louder than their voice, and silence always arrived first. Yet silence has its limits, and even the quietest heart eventually reaches the point where it longs to be understood. What is beginning now is not sudden at all. It is the result of countless unnoticed moments, hidden smiles, thoughtful pauses, and memories that stayed alive even after conversations had ended. You may have wondered why certain encounters felt different, why certain eyes lingered just a second longer, or why familiar moments kept returning to your thoughts without any clear explanation. Sometimes the heart recognizes a story long before the mind understands it. Stay till the end, because the next realization may connect pieces that once seemed completely unrelated. The person who has been holding these feelings never expected them to grow this deeply. They believed time would soften them, that distance would quiet them, or that life would simply move in another direction. Instead, every passing day gave those emotions stronger roots. They began noticing the smallest details about you, the things most people overlook. Your kindness when no one is watching, your strength during ordinary days, your ability to make simple moments feel meaningful. None of those qualities demanded attention, yet together they quietly became unforgettable. This is why the confession waiting ahead will feel so surprising. It is not being built on a single dramatic moment. It is being built on hundreds of quiet ones that were patiently collecting meaning while no one was paying attention. There is something beautiful about feelings that grow without noise. They become steady instead of rushed, thoughtful instead of impulsive, sincere instead of temporary. And perhaps that is why this story has unfolded so slowly. It was never meant to race toward the ending. It was meant to become real, one heartbeat at a time. Even now, that person is replaying conversations in their mind, wondering whether today could finally become the day they stop hiding behind uncertainty. They are discovering that some truths become heavier when left unspoken and lighter the moment they are shared. Don't look away just yet, because another piece of this quiet journey is about to reveal itself, and what has remained hidden until now may soon begin finding its voice in the most unexpected way. There is something fascinating about the way truth chooses its own moment to appear. It never seems to arrive when people try to force it. Instead, it waits until hearts have become honest enough to recognize it. That is exactly where this story is leading now. Stay a little longer, because what seemed like ordinary moments are beginning to reveal a completely different meaning. The person whose feelings have remained hidden has reached a place where pretending feels more difficult than being vulnerable. Every excuse they once relied on is slowly disappearing, leaving only one simple question echoing inside them. What if I finally tell the truth? That question has followed them through quiet mornings, peaceful evenings, and countless moments when your name unexpectedly crossed their mind. They have discovered that genuine admiration does not fade simply because it is ignored. Instead, it becomes calmer, wiser, and even more certain. You may never have realized how often your presence changed someone's day without you trying. A single conversation may have stayed with them for weeks. A smile you hardly remembered may have become one of their favorite memories. Even your quiet confidence, shown during ordinary moments, left an impression that words could never fully explain. They were never searching for perfection. They were simply searching for someone who felt real. Every time they looked around, they kept returning to the same quiet realization: you. Not because you demanded attention, but because your authenticity quietly stood apart from everything else. Don't skip this part, because something important is waiting for you. The closer this person comes to sharing their feelings, the more they begin understanding that courage is not the absence of uncertainty. Courage is choosing honesty even when the outcome cannot be predicted. That understanding has changed everything. Instead of asking whether they should speak, they have started asking how they can express what has been resting inside their heart for so long. They no longer want perfect words. They simply want true ones. Sometimes the simplest sentence carries the greatest meaning because it comes from a sincere place rather than a rehearsed one. An unexpected shift is already beginning. Small coincidences seem less random than before. Familiar places suddenly feel different. Conversations appear at just the right time. It is almost as though life is gently arranging tiny pieces into a picture that has not been fully revealed yet. None of this feels rushed. None of it feels forced. It unfolds with the quiet confidence of something that has been patiently waiting for its proper season. And then comes the realization that changes everything. The confession itself is only one moment. The journey leading toward it is the real story. Every silent hope, every thoughtful pause, every unspoken feeling has been preparing both hearts to understand something they could not have understood before. Stay till the end, because the next chapter is where hesitation begins to fade, and the first unmistakable sign that those hidden feelings are ready to become spoken words is closer than anyone expected. No one could have predicted that the smallest change would become the one that mattered most. It wasn't a grand gesture or an unforgettable event. It was a quiet shift inside someone's heart, the kind that happens so gently you only recognize it after everything has already begun to change. Stay with this moment, because another layer of the story is unfolding, and every word is bringing you closer to what has been waiting all along. The person who has carried these feelings for so long has stopped asking whether those emotions are real. That question has already been answered. What remains now is finding the courage to let those feelings step into the light with honesty, kindness, and hope. There have been moments when they almost reached out. Their hands paused over a message they never sent. They imagined the conversation again and again, changing a single sentence each time, hoping to find the perfect beginning. But then they realized something unexpected. Feelings that come from the heart are never remembered because they were perfect. They are remembered because they were genuine. That realization brought a quiet sense of peace they had never experienced before. Instead of hiding behind uncertainty, they began preparing themselves for a conversation that could finally express everything they had kept inside. Don't skip this part, because something important is waiting for you. Sometimes life gives gentle hints long before the full picture appears. A familiar song suddenly carries new meaning. A place you barely noticed begins returning to your thoughts. A simple memory becomes brighter than it used to be. These moments are not asking for quick conclusions. They are inviting you to notice how beautifully ordinary life can become when sincere emotions begin finding their direction. The story is no longer standing still. It is moving, quietly and confidently, towards something that feels both surprising and deeply natural. Meanwhile, the person thinking of you has begun to see your story differently. They admire not only the joyful moments you share with others but also the strength you carry during quiet seasons that few people ever notice. They respect your patience, your compassion, and the way you continue moving forward without asking for recognition. Those qualities have become impossible for them to ignore. Every day has added another reason to believe that speaking honestly would be better than wondering forever what might have happened. What makes this moment so meaningful is not the confession itself. It is the transformation happening before it. Fear is slowly making room for confidence. Doubt is giving way to clarity. Silence is becoming a bridge instead of a barrier. The words that once felt impossible are beginning to feel simple, almost inevitable, because they are no longer trying to impress anyone. They only want to reveal the truth with sincerity. Stay till the end, because the next step is closer than ever. A quiet decision has already been made inside that heart, even if no one else can see it yet. Very soon, something that has lived only in silent thoughts may finally become spoken aloud, and when that moment arrives, you'll understand why every gentle pause along this journey carried its own hidden purpose. A quiet certainty has begun replacing every unanswered question, and that change is more powerful than anyone around them realizes. There comes a moment when the heart grows tired of rehearsing conversations that never happen. It stops searching for the perfect timing and starts believing that honesty creates its own perfect moment. Stay a little longer, because this is where everything begins to feel different. Something important is waiting for you, and its meaning becomes clearer with every passing moment. For a long time, they believed that keeping their feelings hidden was the safest choice. They convinced themselves that silence would protect what mattered most. Yet every day brought the same gentle reminder. Some emotions are not meant to stay locked away forever. They are meant to be shared with kindness, not because they demand an answer, but because truth deserves the chance to be heard. That realization has quietly transformed the way they look at you, the way they remember your conversations, and even the way they imagine tomorrow. The most surprising part is not that they care about you. It is how naturally those feelings became part of their everyday life. They find themselves smiling at memories that seem ordinary to everyone else. They remember little details that most people would forget within hours. They notice the qualities that cannot be measured or explained. Your patience. Your warmth. Your quiet resilience. Those simple things became unforgettable without either of you realizing it. Don't skip this moment, because another piece of the story is gently falling into place. Somewhere, they have already started speaking differently when your name comes to mind. Instead of wondering whether they should keep pretending, they have begun imagining how peaceful it would feel to finally be open. They are no longer chasing flawless words. They are searching for honest ones. There is a beautiful difference between the two, and that difference has given them the confidence they have been missing for so long. Perhaps the most meaningful discoveries arrive without making any noise. A passing thought becomes a lasting decision. A quiet hope becomes a clear intention. A hidden feeling becomes something impossible to ignore. That is exactly what is happening now. Their heart has stopped moving in circles. It has chosen a direction, and every day strengthens that choice a little more. You may not see any of this yet, and that is perfectly natural. Some stories unfold beneath the surface before they become visible. Like the first light before sunrise, the change begins long before anyone notices it. Every unseen step has been preparing for a single meaningful moment, one that feels less like an ending and more like the beginning of something honest and refreshing. Stay till the end, because the next chapter holds the moment they have imagined more times than they can count. The silence that once protected their feelings is beginning to soften, and the very first words they choose may reveal far more than either of you ever expected. What happens next is not loud, dramatic, or rushed. It begins with a single quiet decision that changes everything from the inside out. There comes a point when the heart realizes that waiting forever is no longer an act of patience, it is simply delaying a truth that is ready to be spoken. Stay till the end, because this part carries a realization that has been growing since the very beginning, and something important is waiting for you just ahead. The person who has been holding these feelings no longer measures time by days or weeks. Instead, they remember moments. The conversation that made them smile long after it ended. The unexpected kindness you showed without asking for anything in return. The calm confidence you carried even when life seemed uncertain. Those memories never disappeared. They quietly became the foundation of everything they now feel. It is remarkable how genuine emotions change the way someone sees the ordinary. A familiar place suddenly feels meaningful because it reminds them of you. A quiet evening becomes filled with reflection instead of silence. Even the smallest details begin carrying unexpected significance. They are no longer searching for reasons to explain these feelings away. They have accepted them with gratitude, and that acceptance has brought a peace they never expected to find. Don't skip this moment, because another piece of the picture is gently revealing itself. There was a time when they feared honesty might change everything. Now they have discovered something completely different. Honesty does change everything, but not by creating distance. It creates clarity. It replaces endless guessing with understanding. It allows two hearts to meet without pretending to be anything other than who they truly are. You may not realize it yet, but your quiet presence has inspired more courage than you know. Without trying, you reminded someone that kindness is powerful, that authenticity stands out, and that meaningful connections are built through sincerity rather than perfection. Those lessons stayed with them, slowly shaping a decision that feels more certain with every passing day. The closer they move toward expressing what has been hidden, the calmer they become. Their thoughts are no longer racing ahead. Their heart is no longer caught between hope and hesitation. Instead, there is a quiet confidence growing within them, like the first light appearing before the sunrise. They have stopped wondering whether the moment will come. Now they are simply preparing themselves to recognize it when it arrives. Stay a little longer, because the story is approaching a beautiful turning point. The words they have imagined countless times are no longer trapped inside silent reflections. They are beginning to find their place, one gentle thought after another. And just beyond this moment, a small but unforgettable step is waiting to bring everything that has remained unspoken closer than ever before. There is a remarkable difference between hoping for a moment and finally recognizing that it has arrived. That difference cannot always be seen from the outside, yet it transforms everything within. The heart that once waited for certainty has quietly become the source of it. Stay with this story a little longer, because something important is waiting for you, and the next step has already begun even if no one has spoken the words aloud. The person who has carried these feelings has started noticing how peaceful honesty feels before it is ever expressed. They no longer replay every possible outcome. Instead, they picture a single, genuine conversation, one where nothing is exaggerated, nothing is hidden, and every word reflects what has quietly been true for so long. They have come to understand that meaningful connections are not built through perfect timing. They are built through sincere moments shared without pretense. Perhaps you have sensed that life has been slowing you down in unexpected ways. Certain conversations linger in your memory. Familiar places seem to hold new meaning. Small encounters leave a deeper impression than they once did. These moments may appear ordinary, yet they often become the pages that lead to a much greater chapter. The most meaningful stories rarely announce themselves. They unfold gently, allowing every piece to settle naturally into place. Don't skip this part, because what comes next connects everything you've heard so far. The person thinking of you has stopped trying to silence their heart. Instead, they have begun listening to it with a calm confidence that surprises even them. They have realized that the greatest risk was never speaking honestly, it was allowing a beautiful truth to remain hidden forever. That realization has become the quiet turning point they never expected. Now their attention is no longer focused on finding flawless words. They are thinking about how they want you to feel when the moment finally arrives. They hope you will sense the sincerity behind every sentence. They hope you will understand that these feelings were never rushed or impulsive. They grew through patience, respect, admiration, and countless quiet moments that slowly formed something lasting. And then something unexpected begins to happen. Instead of wondering whether they are ready, they begin noticing opportunities appearing naturally. A conversation feels easier to begin. A familiar smile brings unexpected confidence. A simple greeting no longer feels ordinary. It feels like the beginning of something they have been quietly preparing for all along. Stay till the end, because the next chapter is where silence finally begins to give way to honesty. The words they have carried with such care are closer than ever to being spoken, and when that moment arrives, you will discover that the greatest surprise was never how deeply they cared. It was how patiently those feelings waited for exactly the right moment to be shared. Every journey reaches a moment when there is nothing left to hide behind. Not because time has run out, but because the heart has finally become brave enough to be completely honest. This is that moment. Stay with these final words, because something important has been waiting for you since the very beginning of this story. The person who has quietly carried these feelings is no longer searching for another reason to wait. They have discovered that the greatest gift they can offer is not perfection, but sincerity. Every memory, every quiet smile, every thoughtful pause has led them here. They are ready to let their heart speak with kindness, patience, and hope. When that conversation finally begins, it may not sound dramatic. It may start with a simple greeting, a warm smile, or a sentence spoken gently. Yet within those ordinary words will be something extraordinary, the courage to reveal feelings that have been growing quietly over time. Sometimes the moments that change us forever are also the calmest ones. As you look back on this journey, you may notice something beautiful. The story was never only about someone finding the courage to express their feelings. It was also about discovering the value of authenticity, the strength of patience, and the quiet confidence that grows when people choose honesty over uncertainty. Those lessons remain meaningful no matter where life leads next. If this story has found a place in your heart, carry one thought with you: meaningful connections are built one sincere moment at a time. They don't need to be rushed. They don't need to be perfect. They simply need truth, respect, and the willingness to let kindness lead the way. And somewhere, perhaps sooner than expected, a heartfelt conversation may begin. Whether it starts with a smile, a simple hello, or a quiet confession, it will remind both hearts that the most beautiful words are often the ones spoken with genuine care. The journey ends here, but its message continues beyond these final lines. Keep your heart open to meaningful moments, appreciate the quiet beauty in everyday connections, and remember that some of life's most memorable chapters begin with a single honest sentence spoken at exactly the right time.